Imagine having only 30 minutes to determine if you will live or die. Jim's morning began like any other day. Casual glance out the kitchen window as he waited for his coffee to brew. Looking through his window, he saw his neighbors, the Wilsons, hastily packing their car with backpacks and various gear. Shaking his head, Jim chuckled to himself, thinking, there go the neighborhood crazies again. They're probably doing another one of their drills. Minutes later, Jim's phone vibrated for what seemed to be the fourth or fifth time. Assuming it was just another text message, he ignored it, continuing on with his morning routine until curiosity finally got the best of him. Picking up his phone finally, Jim's amusement quickly turned to dread. As he read the message, immediate evacuation required. Catastrophic event confirmed. Thousands dead at the epicenter. Expected in your area within 30 minutes. Evacuate the city immediately. Panicking, Jim scrambled to collect items with no real plan in mind. He grabbed snacks instead of substantial food. He filled a bag with random clothing, and he forgot essential documents. His flashlight had dead batteries, and he didn't even have any water packed. In his rush, he left behind his phone charger and his medication. As Jim finally hit the road, traffic was already piling up. His car, low on gas, crept along. He thought about it and realized he didn't know any alternate routes out of the city because he'd always relied on the highways. As the radio reported worsening conditions, his heart sank. Jim's car eventually ran out of gas, leaving him stranded in gridlock, helpless and unprepared. Let's turn back the clock and start over and see how the crazy neighbors, the Wilsons, managed to get such a quick and effective evacuation. When the Wilsons received that same alert that Jim did, which was on loud because it's part of their preparedness protocol, they immediately began to implement their well-practiced evacuation drill. They even had an evacuation checklist posted on the refrigerator, which they followed by memory at this point. Unlike Jim, the Wilsons had their phones set to receive all emergency alerts with their sound on, ensuring they never missed a warning. They also had a radio with battery backup tuned to a local emergency station on low, so they knew from what they heard on it that this was not going to be a drill. And each member of the Wilson family had their own go bag, packed with essentials like water, high-energy foods, first aid supplies, extra clothing, and important medications. They also had copies of all their important documents, laminated and in waterproof pouches. And they always kept the car ready with at least half a tank of gas, equipped with emergency supplies, including a map of all potential evacuation routes, which they had already practiced driving. Upon receiving the alert, they executed their plan with precision, which is what Jim saw. Mrs. Wilson secured their home, while Mr. Wilson and the two children loaded the car. Their practice paid off, and they were on the road in less than 10 minutes. Knowing the main routes would be like a parking lot, they took a pre-planned back road, avoiding the traffic that had trapped Jim and so many others. They were able to reach their designated bug-out location, which was a comfortable barn on a friend's land. They were safe, secure, and self-sufficient, ready to wait out whatever the emergency was. So this scenario is not just a distant possibility. It's a potential reality, especially these days. The reasons could be many different ones at this point. There's so many, but all are possible. Natural disasters that have been intensified by weather weaponization, like hurricanes, wildfires, and earthquakes. Technological or industrial accidents, like nuclear meltdowns or chemical spills. And escalating geopolitical tensions that could lead to unexpected conflicts or outright attacks on the country. And to add to all of that, we now have untold millions of humans in our countries, all of our countries, that we know nothing about. Where they're from, their reasons for coming here, or what their intentions are. Most, we hope, are honestly wanting to better their lives. But some are here for other reasons. Preparing ahead, a lot like the Wilsons did, can dramatically increase your chances of survival in sudden crises, whatever they might be. And a lack of planning and preparedness, as we saw in Jim's story, can lead to dire consequences. In the face of potential disasters, being prepared is not merely an option, it is essential for your survival. And think about this for a second. The difference between surviving or not surviving these potential disasters or outright SHTF situations hinges on the choices we make now today.